Welcome back, true believers and all you uncanny X-Men fans out there, to another very intriguing Marvel's Wolverine related video. Of course, the major Marvel game other than Marvel's Spider-Man 2 being developed directly from Insomniac Games as a complete PlayStation 5 exclusive. And I have done a plethora of videos already talking about the news of Marvel's Wolverine, giving my thoughts about certain other elements about it possibly being connected to Marvel's Spider-Man and that universe of the Insomniac Spider-Man franchise, considering that there was the Easter egg of the 1048 number indicating that Marvel 1048 is the world that both of these games may take place in, which is very exciting if true. But in particular for this video, we are taking a little bit of a deeper look as to whether or not the reveal of Marvel's Wolverine was justified in the sense of it being revealed during the PlayStation Showcase alongside of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which for one was amazing, but in reality, the very fact that we know extremely little about this game and it's likely going to release after Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in 2023 could be a pretty big problem for a lot of you who may be more hyped for Marvel's Wolverine in comparison to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So this is more of a laid-back discussion, and I just felt like I want to provide my opinion about this for you guys today. And fun fact, if you did see my previous video about the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Spider-Man Edge of Time remasters being canceled, check that video out if you haven't already. My laptop was damaged during that recording on the right side of it, kind of snapping off of the monitor. It's fixed now. It's been completely fixed, and we're back to our regularly scheduled program of hype videos that all of you can thoroughly enjoy. That was a bit of a scare for me at first since this is my favorite laptop, but it seems like things are totally up and running again, so definitely expect loads more Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine videos like these to be uploaded on the channel as much as you possibly can expect. So leave a like and subscribe if you are enjoying, and I would thoroughly appreciate it. But yes, just to reiterate once more, is that Marvel's Wolverine was fully revealed during the PlayStation Showcase event of this year in 2021, with the crazy shocker of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 also being revealed during the same exact event. Now, we obviously know a lot more as it stands at this time for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in comparison to Marvel's Wolverine, given the fact that Insomniac have directly confirmed that Marvel's Wolverine is indeed in very early development for that entire project, and the creative team behind it is the same team behind Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, while the main Marvel Spider-Man team from the first game in 2018 is working on the sequel to that project with, of course, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And for one, I couldn't be happier. The fact that we're getting both Spider-Man and Wolverine from Insomniac Games as complete PlayStation 5 exclusives is not only a dream come true as a massive gaming fan and a fan of both these characters, but seeing how far Insomniac are going to be able to completely utilize the next-gen hardware of the PlayStation 5 with a character like Wolverine in full force is extremely exciting to even think about and process as to what type of gameplay mechanics, graphical fidelity, and just narrative beats they can include for this character in full next-gen greatness. And we also know that Marvel Games as a company does have a lot of very intriguing projects in the works right now that are set to release in fairly short amounts of time, one of which is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is coming out in October of this year, 2021, and Marvel's Midnight Suns releasing in March of 2022. And while we currently don't know the exact release date of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 as to when it could release in 2023, I would personally bet sometime either in the middle or likely later in that year, so that way the majority of people who do not yet own a PlayStation 5 will be able to get their hands on the console before the game actually releases. And the same setting applies for Marvel's Wolverine, especially knowing that Marvel's Wolverine is currently in very early stages of development, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is likely going to be the biggest title that Insomniac will release within that year of 2023, and likely no other game to follow it within that year. I do believe the earliest that we can expect Marvel's Wolverine to actually release is either in the year of 2024 or possibly even later of 2025. So keeping all those particular dates in mind, with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 likely releasing later in the year of 2023 and Marvel's Wolverine likely not releasing until 2024 or later, did Insomniac and or mainly Sony reveal this game too soon? And in my opinion, I totally think that they did. I am a huge fan of all these Marvel games and all these Marvel properties because I definitely want them to do well, and knowing that Insomniac are handling Wolverine as a character couldn't make me any more hyped. But I do think that the marketing for these games, especially revealing them years in advance, especially just for all these major AAA exclusives in general, not just for these Marvel games, but other massive PlayStation exclusive titles, or just these major AAA games as a whole, do seem to have the tendency of being revealed way too early, with little to no information to be backed up for those reveals, and then wait 2 to maybe even 3 years later for actual in-depth analysis of all these titles, and then by the time next year rolls around, where we're going to see likely gameplay of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in action in 2022, I highly doubt we're going to get like a full-on gameplay demo of Marvel's Wolverine in that year with Spider-Man 2, and instead, I think they're going to actually simply save gameplay of Marvel's Wolverine until it's fully well polished enough until 2023. So, seeing how long we have to wait for these titles to actually initially launch with reveal and then release worldwide to the general market, I definitely think that Insomniac, or mainly Sony, who are the publishers of both of these games, should have held off until next year in 2022, have another PlayStation Showcase event then, and show even more massive AAA PlayStation 5 exclusive games like Marvel's Wolverine to be the forefront of that showcase, with some other massive games that have not been revealed yet to also take place in a future event. Because having to wait for this amount of time is definitely going to be a long haul for a lot of people who are insanely hyped for Marvel's Wolverine. And while Wolverine, just to be honest, is not as a financially profitable character in comparison to Spider-Man, he still is a majorly beloved character nonetheless. And seeing that he's pretty much going to be receiving the Spider-Man PS4 Miles Morales treatment for a video game in his own standalone title with that same amount of quality and passion, obviously give Insomniac all the time they need to make the best game possible, but having to wait about 3 years minimum to possibly receive this game on launch is definitely going to be a trying time for a lot of people, and I do hope that in the future Sony can kind of realize maybe they should keep some of their cards close to the vest and only play them when they need to be played. Unlike Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where it's likely going to release either in the middle or later in the year of 2023, I do think revealing it now was a good move, and that way we have no problems once we do end up seeing more of the game next year in 2022, followed by a solid 2023 release date, kind of similar to the pattern that we previously saw with Spider-Man PS4 being revealed in 2016, getting a gameplay demo in 2017, another gameplay demo in 2018, and then finally the game released later in that year of 2018. So I do think the same pattern is going to apply for both Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine. I just personally hope that does pay off for Sony and Insomniac and Marvel in the long run. But knowing how good of a quality of game that they can make and have made in the past, I definitely think it is going to work in their best possible favor, especially since all of us watching all these trailers are massive fans of Marvel, Insomniac, and of course, PlayStation as a whole. But with all that said, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this more laid-back discussion. What do you think? Do you think Insomniac personally revealed, or mainly Sony in this case, Marvel's Wolverine way too early? Do you want to see more footage of this game be fully revealed by the time this year is over, or wait until we actually get more of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 before we end up seeing more of Marvel's Wolverine, hopefully by next year in 2022, or do you think we're going to have to wait all the way until 2023 to actually end up seeing more about what exactly Marvel's Wolverine is going to end up being, especially with a full-on gameplay demo of that game in action? I definitely don't think that's going to release until sometime either late in 2022 or sometime in 2023. But again, let me know all your thoughts, everybody. Until next time, true believers, stay uncanny, X-Men fans, and peace out.